Hello. This is We Were Rooting for You, the America's Next Top Model podcast. I am your host, Margot Poupard, Gambit contributing TV editor, joined by my co-host and Gambit magazine also contributing editor. That didn't come out so great. Samir Roy.
The information all got across. That's what's really important.
Yeah, exactly. I shoved all of our titles into one sentence. It was
we
kind of
both
hard.
are contributing editors for Gambit. We both have Voice Perfect tonight.
Yes, and this is our accompanying podcast to our America's Next Top Model reviews, and we just reviewed and watched Finale Part 1, The Girl Who Makes a Splash.
Finale Part 1.
Yes, insinuating that a lot of things get dragged out, like it's some sort of actual epic drama that's scripted. Oh, Lord. It was...
That whole statement just makes me angry. I just hate this whole trend of like mid-season finales.
Mid-season finales are bullshit.
Total bullshit. It's just a way to drag shit out and then, like, have, create the excitement of a premiere again by making you wait. I'm like, dude, we already have to fast forward through all these commercials.
There's that, and then in, like, those 2 months, you just kind of forget. And so when you watch the first episode, they try and pretend like you've been waiting and obsessing about it for, like, the last 2 months, and you really like kind of forgot, and then now you've got to play catch up and look things up online, and then
that's
possibly...
what they want. They want you to be like, look it up so we get more clicks. Go rewatch all the episodes so we get more advertising dollars, and you all think that we're doing something amazing for you just because we gave you this like high again. And it's like, well, you know what? TV and media really is the opiate of the masses. I can't disagree, because that's clearly what they want out of all of us viewers, and they did it again with this finale by splitting it into 2, and it's like, dude, remember when they did that in that stupid Lord of the Rings series, where it's like, the desolation of Smaug, and I'm like...
No, that was The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, I meant The Hobbit, but like...
Yes,
okay,
they took a 180-page book, if that, and made it fucking an 8-hour movie. It makes no sense
and
whatsoever.
Then delayed the ending of the second one, that was the title of the whole movie, and then that actual event didn't even happen until... the next movie. I'm like, okay, so they did the same thing with this episode where, like, the most glorious part was going to be the elimination of the 2 models, which they, of course, waited to show us for next week. So instead, we got to see more of the same, mostly, I would say, in a lot of ways. Like, Mikey's still creeping on girls, only the pool's a lot smaller, and a pool actually does play into this episode, unfortunately. And fortunately... in equal measure. It's a love-hate relationship.
Well, I would say that, like, the first half of the episode was actually very entertaining, and then it just took this, like, snoozy dive where everybody was just, like, talking a lot about their feelings and their families, more about their families, and then we meet back up with the other models at the runway show, or at the, like, walkthrough, almost, of the final runway show, and that just felt like 15 minutes of filler. Like, they just went through B-roll. They're like, yeah, whatever, just put some music under it. It was boring. It was really boring, worse than that.
Yeah, we probably should have rated it lower, actually, in our written review. But, I was trying to be generous, because I just love the way that, we'll get to, like, the circumstances that accompany how these models are being eliminated a little bit later, because I don't want to spoil it right away.
Yeah, we have to have something to talk about first.
Because that's technically not even really going to happen until next week anyways. Mm-hmm. Bitches.
And we'll obviously gab about who we think will make the final 2, the guy or the girl. So I guess a little bit of context from last week is that Tyra, because she ended up keeping all 4 of the models, it's going to be 1 guy and 1 girl, which I feel is a little silly, because shouldn't it just be whoever's the better
actually the
model?
Best? I mean, it kind of almost... No, I don't know if it would. Maybe it would have turned out that way anyways, because we kind of have our opinions on who the top 2 kind of are amongst us 4, which actually I think would be a guy and a girl, because I'm feeling I'm going to say Lyle and Nacy. Just like I used to be like Skulder and Mully. Thank God. But Niall and Lacey seem to be, to me, the top 2, because they did... But it was weird, because they kind of played around with that. They played around with with the 2 guys. Each of the guys and the girls, they sort of played around with this, like, oh, one of them's clearly going to be on top, one's clearly going to be on the bottom.
Yeah, like they split the couples, essentially, which is how they started this episode, where a lot of shots of Niall and Lacey hanging out, doing sign language stuff and giggling, and then a lot of Mikey and Mame in the hot tub and like cuddling in bed and stuff. He
Does
even
Mikey
like
just do everything in his underwear? Even getting into the jacuzzis, he doesn't even seem to change it into like bathing suits. He's just like, I'm just gonna take off my pants and climb in.
White trash. I just gotta say that. But anyway, we just see them together a lot. He even like creeps in since Mame won last week, she gets her tie tip, and he comes in and like ruins it.
Like first you thought she was there alone.
She can't even have a single thing to herself. It just feels really annoying.
Because that's what I thought. Like she got into the room, she picks up this giant teddy bear that's there for whatever reason. Maybe Tyra's into furries. I don't know, but nonetheless...
That's a question for Mr. Tyra.
Oh, it's like, maybe he left his costume behind.
Oh my god, don't touch it in that case. Put it down and go wash your hands.
Teddy bear, and she starts sort of holding it all sweetly.
Hold on, she's also interacting with Tyra as if it's like some sort of
she's having a conversation with the TV, and I'm like, this isn't a Skype thing. Isn't this Tyra like recording something?
It felt really kind of sad. I was like, girl, she's not there. It's pre-recorded.
It's like that moment in the original Hairspray where she's like, hi Tracy, it's me, and then Tracy's mom was like, she can't hear you because she's waving at the television. It was like that kind of like, oh girl. I thought you were raised by telephone. You should know how this works.
Right. Well, maybe that's why she thought she had to talk to her.
Maybe, I don't know. But then it was literally all of a sudden, it was kind of like the way Cary Grant always appeared in that movie Suspicion. He just suddenly in a room with the heroine. I'm like, suddenly Mikey was just there. I'm like, oh my god.
Seriously. He just like crept in all shirtless and gross, and he's...
Spectral hillbilly rapist just entered.
It felt really obnoxious that he just thought he could go in there and like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to your tie tip. Like, go fuck off.
It's like, did she invite you? Did she invite him and we didn't see it? I highly doubt that. But you never know because she keeps talking about her
I don't know,
weird
because we didn't know that she actually made out with Mikey.
I thought it was just a naked and afraid kind of moment.
That's what I thought too.
I didn't think they made out.
Clearly we were wrong, which feeds into some drama later on. Dun dun. But when she does confirm it in the beginning of the episode when they're all kind of hanging out and it's kind of gross.
Yeah, well, he's just gross. And it's like, he makes me feel like a terrible person because he just brings out the worst in me every week. And I feel like I say horrible things that I normally would be ashamed of. And I'm like, I don't know how else to describe him sometimes. I mean, I just watched that horrifying documentary, The Hunting Ground. And like, after watching that and then seeing Mikey still preying on girls this way and that the producers are still pushing this kind of behavior out, because I think they're encouraging it. They're not just watching it happen. They're like, yeah, you and Mame, is something happening there? I bet something would happen there if you, like, maybe, hung out with her a little bit more. You should do that. I don't know. I just feel like that show was unreal.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like I'm watching that show.
Yeah.
At times. Like, it's like, we're just not seeing the producers in it, like, as part of it.
But you can see their hand in it, though. The
like,
way that
so clearly. It's like, their ghost is all over this, You just feel that pressure and that presence of them, like, trying to coerce these specific narratives. I'm just like, why are you choosing this narrative? Like, I'm like, if this was a fictional show, like Unreal was about this, then, like, I'd still be disgusted, but I'd be like, I wouldn't be anywhere near as freaked out because
like,
it's like
pumping
a real...
like, fanning the flames of all of this. When they have their eye on the end of the road where we know Justin will come back because they finally get to... I feel it's so strange that nobody acts... Like, everybody on the show acts like there weren't previous seasons sometimes. Like, how do you not know that, like, X, Y, and Z is coming?
Yeah.
So finally, this episode, I think it was Mikey that said, like, oh, I know that I'm going to see Justin at the final runway because they always bring back the other models. I'm like, finally! Yes, other seasons have happened. No, but I'm glad that the amnesia is finally wearing off of all of you.
I know. Well,
the Stockholm Syndrome is finally letting its grip slightly loose.
Well, maybe there's just, like, the fact that their mothers, like, the introduction of their mothers introduced some, like, it injected some of the real world back into their lives. They're like, oh, wait a minute, I can actually kind of see this now.
Yeah. The blinders are now off.
Yes, or at least they're a little varnished on the side so you can kind of see through.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so, but, it's kind of foolish to hope for such things on this show. It's not really what we watch the show for anyway.
Yeah, it's okay.
We watch it because it pisses us off and makes us hilariously bitchy, I think.
So I think the producers are doing the equivalent of pushing two people's faces together to see what they'll do, in hopes that it'll fuel more drama between Mame and Justin by the end of the episode, which we'll get to. keep moving on about.
But they spent more time also kind of like they gave us the like they clearly divided the like you said they completely split up the couple, so it's like Niall and Lacey and Mame and
versus Mame and Mikey.
And then when they get into the challenges, they're like Niall's doing really well, Lacey's not doing as well as Mame. Mikey's not doing as well as Niall. It's like they're trying to like break up the couples they split them into so that we'd all be like, no!
But they keep flip-flopping though too, so it's kind of like a mixed bag. It's sort of like you were different, you were normal. It's just like two things that don't make sense.
They called Mame whimsical at one point. I'm like, when has she ever given off a whimsical vibe?
Right? I don't... The
Ever.
words that she even uses to describe herself are regal.
That's very much the opposite of whimsical.
Yeah, and also, I didn't see that look when... I think it was Melissa from Zappos who said that. But their first challenge this episode was a the shoot for their potential nylon spread, with Mark the disgusting cobra snake.
Oh my god, it was so
He's
awful.
such a fucking creep. He just makes me want to... just looking at him. He just screams, sexual assault! I'm on a predator's list! I don't really know how he keeps getting work. But then again, so does Terry Richardson, so what do I know?
Yeah.
Anyway, he's there. He's going to be their photographer. And I believe he was the photographer for last nylon shoot. Actually, maybe... He was on a couple of shoots.
I think he's definitely been on some of these before. But, like, the theme of the photo shoot is them, like, breaking into a pool at night by climbing over the fence and, like, swimming and partying. And they keep telling Lacey she looks too slutty. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I lived in a bad part of town. I've seen my share of prostitutes. Obviously, I did not rent any prostitutes because I clearly had no desire
to a prostitute?
Whatever you do, I don't know what you call it because I've never done it. What do you do?
Well,
Hire a prostitute?
Neither have I, but I know that it's not renting one.
Well, it's kind of what you're doing. You're renting someone for sex for a couple
hours.
No,
it totally makes sense, but I'm pretty sure that's just
it's not the term that's used.
Right. No one's ever said that.
I've never been a trick. Never. What is the word? I don't even know. All I know is that I've never seen prostitutes that looked like these women. Or like looked lacy. I'm like, what prostitutes are you going to? I think it's in the written review. Like, are you the kind of guy who like hires prostitutes just to talk?
Yeah, I think
and
maybe
then, like,
if anything, she looks like a expensive call girl.
I'm kidding. A step up.
I really don't think I did not understand what they were saying. I think maybe what they meant to say was like she's going too sleazy instead of sexy, which
I have a hard time believing that Cobra Snake interpreted anything Lacey was doing as sleazy. I think he's
if anything, she has grounds for a sexual harassment suit.
Right?
Since he's like, show me you're a good Christian girl. It's like, oh my god.
You are so sickening.
You are so gross. I don't understand what the theme is, but then again, I feel like that's Nylon's thing. Breaking into a pool. And I like the fact that all of the models are in each other's photos so that no matter who is eliminated and ends up in the magazine, they all are technically.
Well, they'll probably just be photoshopped out.
You think?
I think they'll just be cut out, cropped out, or something.
But if they're having a party, who has a party with one person?
Well, if it's a guy and there's two girls, that's probably a good party for that guy.
Yeah, so Mame and Lacey would still be in there.
Oh. And then Mame and Lacey and Niall together. Now that's a party.
I see what you mean. But
of course, I would disinvite the ladies and invite myself. But nonetheless, I'm sure, well, he's fluid. But, you know, that could also be a great party for him. If that was the case. Well, even then, it would only really be one of them. I mean, it's really weird. I don't understand how this is a prize for the winner. Because there's no way to eliminate all of them from the photos.
Yeah,
so
I know.
You're sharing your prize with with the losers.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And it's yet another great idea.
Yeah, well, they don't have money for extras, so what are you going to do? You got to use what you got.
Were they also
but I love
working
that
as
they
crew?
had multiple looks, quote unquote, because every outfit was so ugly. It was insane.
And like by the time they got to like the swimsuit part, I'm like, oh god, thank you. Most of the clothes are now off.
Yeah, all of the
not just
cover-ups
because we
were
got
strange.
to see Niall without his shirt.
Well, Niall did a lot of
like,
poses where he was lifting his shirt up, and I was like, can we just do this all day?
I don't have any problem with that. I don't see what Cobra Snake's problem is. He
well,
didn't really
Cobra
seem
Snake,
to have one.
Well, Cobra Snake did have a problem with the interpreter.
That's right. It was like, oh, I don't want you focused on your interpreter. It's like, well, how will I know what you're saying? I guess in Niall's head, he's like, oh, wait, that's a good call. I'm just gonna let this happen. I won't say anything. Be like, okay, now I don't actually have to know any of the bullshit that this moron is saying, and I'll just look hot That's pretty much all that happened.
I feel like Niall pretty much figured out he just wants people to look hot, and this is his only thing. So
And it's like when you start seeing the guy like rubbing his crotch as he's taking the pictures, then you know that like you've got the right mood going. And like, is that how you're communicating with him? Because how do you plan to communicate with him if you have a problem? Are you just gonna wave your arms around like frantically this way and then counterclockwise if you're happy? Like, I don't know.
But that would require them establishing some sort of system, which
they didn't do.
Yeah, so I think all he wanted to do was, I don't know, not
make
give
it
direction.
more difficult for him so that
it didn't look like Niall was struggling
but
whatsoever,
Niall was just
though,
like,
so
whatever,
it doesn't really seem to matter.
Science.
No, it's not, and he seemed to do totally fine. I mean, they were still in love with Mikey, which I don't...
Which was really weird.
But I feel like, you know,
but
how like sees like. So Cobra Snake sees a sleazeball in Mikey and it's just like, I'm into that. I like
But
this
he was having problems with him. He could be like, stop modeling, just be, you know, like...
Which was a reoccurring theme for Mikey and his feedback.
He was overthinking it. I'm like, I didn't realize it was something he had to worry about.
Right? And that he's cool? I'm like, what's happening here?
I'm like, I don't know.
What are you guys saying exactly? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Lacey? I don't understand.
Are you talking to Niall?
Yeah.
No, you're talking to... What?
Who's thinking too much?
But of course, they've also got to keep in mind their brand because that comes back again at the end too.
Blah.
I'm like, what the hell? This is so stupid. This was so ridiculous. I'm like, are you still pushing this what are they fiercepreneurs or is this a new type of thing? Like, this is you going out on your own.
I thought it fell under the fiercepreneur umbrella. I don't think it's exactly being a fiercepreneur because maybe that's business pitches, but I feel like it falls under the umbrella as like this business life plan.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Is it a 5-year plan? Is that what she's making them do?
She didn't even say 5-year plan. She just said, like, business plan. And they all got poster boards. The descriptions could
honestly not be more vague if they tried.
And when exactly are they presenting these? Because at the end of the episode, we got to the
final runway. In front of their moms, apparently.
So they're going to stop at the end of the runway to hold up a poster board?
No, they're doing it right before. They're doing it right then and there when Tyra's like, and now 2 will be eliminated. They're going to present their shit that she's going to cut 2 people while their moms watch.
Like, but she already saw this. Like, you'll see Mikey's got tonks. Or was that what they're called? I still can't quite remember.
Tanks? No,
it was,
shit.
That's what it was called. That's what it was. It was shit, is what it was. So we got it right there.
Well, I think it's also under the umbrella of Tonks, but
I'm like, that's a character in Harry Potter. Does nobody remember this? She was really cool, and
they
just shat all over that beautiful character.
Like he reads, Samir. He has no frame of reference for Harry Potter.
Well, he was reading that script they handed him because remember they were preparing.
He also
their pitches?
didn't read that either. They were just telling him right before what to say.
Well, it's like they were preparing, but I'm like, you have like some typed out multiple sheets that have been typed and stapled together for you.
Oh, when he's practicing his presentation outside, he's like pacing. He's like, and so like I came from like nothing. He's like he looked like the shittier version of Eminem in 8 Mile, where he's like, yeah, mom spaghetti on my shirt, like getting ready to like write a rap battle that he's definitely gonna lose because he's gonna vomit on himself.
Jeez. Oh, that would be really great if that happened.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
I mean, Drag Race already did it, but
still, I think there's room for another top model first.
Another blonde. Because it was Willem in Drag Race who puked off stage. And I'm like, hey, this is another blonde. It could happen.
I'm not saying off stage. That's actually slightly dignified. I'd say puke all over himself.
Well, yeah, that would be really tragic.
Like, one of those things where you, like, bend over and get some on your pants.
Or it's like you open your mouth to speak and then it's just... Bleh.
Maybe that's what's going to happen to him. They keep trying to build up this, like, Mame's nerves thing.
It'll be like the beginning of Pitch Perfect.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it will.
Where she pukes on the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, he puked on the weird Shark Tank ladies. That would be so great.
Oh, I drove past a dry bar thing when I was down in LA. I was like, oh, there you are.
That's you. That's why you were there.
That's a thing.
It is a thing.
Cool.
I guess.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Forever.
But anyway, back to the nylon shoot. It was hard to tell who was doing well and who was doing poorly because, as you said, so they split them up, again, kind of superficially. Like, remember, it's Lacey versus Mame, and it's Niall versus Mikey. And they had, like, these fight cards, like, let's do this. And they even had sound effects for Mikey's, like, punching.
Punches, he had, like, the little, like, pop, pop. Batman, like, red, like, explosions, like
he's a
symbols.
cartoon.
Well, he
Like
is
he's
a
in
cartoon.
like he's in Kick-Ass or something.
Well, that was... Well, I didn't watch all of that, so I can't really comment on how good or bad it was.
But either way, they did that in there.
They did.
But this was like a really bad, like Windows, Microsoft Paint, little POW things on his fists.
We could do that better.
Definitely. But every time we would cut to either, like, let's say we peek in on Niall and Mikey's shoot when they're, like, climbing that fence. So at first, like, things are going kind of well for Mikey, and he's like...
I do this all the time. And I'm like, yes, I bet you're used to breaking into places so you don't have to pay for things.
He pretty much says as much.
Well, he gave up selling drugs in high school.
He says that it's because he's a Florida boy.
Who gave up selling drugs in high school to be a better person.
So he gave up climbing over fences to go swim in pools at night?
I don't know what the whole point of his narrative was, because it was so all over the place.
It's in brand, though, so don't worry.
It's all in brand. It's all authentic, as Kelly would say. Sleazy douche, you're being really authentic to your brand. I'm really impressed. And please don't bring a condom with you tonight.
Oh my God, stop.
She loves danger, so that's what that really means. That's really, I guess that would be the danger of Mikey's sex appeal is like, what will you get?
She likes danger.
Well, that's the only thing that makes him attractive to people, because even Melissa says it in the second challenge, which is like, it's a sense of danger. And that's not quite the danger that I'm finding sexy.
You did a spot on Melissa from Zappos voice though. She looks like she's high on some Valium.
Right? I want her doctor.
I know. Her face does not move.
She comes in, she's like, oh my God,
her
I
face
stubbed
is
my
so
toe.
taut and bright and like glossy, like shiny.
Just like her assistant.
He did look like Rob Lowe from
like his face is permanently like sculpted into that weird little evil smile.
Maybe it's part of like a Zappos care package when you get signed up there when you start working there. They're just like, and here's your complimentary facelift.
Your eyes will never close again.
Do you want smile or frown?
Can I get smize?
Yes.
I want permanent smize.
One of Melissa's little eyes are lower, or a little wonky. It's hard to look at.
Yeah, well, it's probably too late to fix that.
But anyway, so back to the nylon shoot briefly. Every time Mikey was doing well, it cut to Niall being like, oh, and then Mikey's actually a good model. He actually calls Mikey a good model like more than once. I was like, you don't need to be so nice. Just put the brakes on the nice.
But he keeps saying that he's better than him. So.
Right, but he's still
being a little more diplomatic, and Mikey's like, nah, it doesn't change at all. It's exactly the same. That's not what they're looking for in this competition.
Which, that's his burn for everyone that he, like, is intimidated by.
Look, you're not a model, but you are. Your expertise comes from boning Tyra off camera.
And Kelly.
And hopefully not Miss J. Miss J, I hope you have better taste.
Miss J just watches. In a furry costume.
Just watches in it. Oh, yeah, because Tyra loves furries.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Miss J
and
has the
also in
yarn.
the Vegas shoot, he was a furry in the background of one of the Vegas photos.
That's right. She did bring that in. Maybe that's why it was still stuck in my head from previous episodes.
That's why you keep seeing it.
Well, the teddy bear seemed like a big sign.
But even between Lacey and Monet during their photo shoot, they almost got into fisticuffs because Lacey tries to steal her spotlight. Like, Lacey got really aggressive. And it's weird that there was a lot of, like, a mixed... Well, I guess it was more of, like, a mixed bag of comments from Usai, because at one moment, he's like, yes, perfect, work it, Lacey looks so great. He's like, I don't know if being the bottom two made her put a fire under her butt, but she's giving me realness. And then, like, 2 seconds later, he's like, you look like a prostitute.
I'm like... Well, I guess, like...
Are you someone's drunk dad?
Remember...
Like, a verbally abusive drunk dad?
I was thinking more like Chloe's friend from Don't Trust the Bee, like, who comes and goes off his meds to help her get through the Carter Marsh, like, warehouse sale in New York City. And I'm like, maybe for this final week, they just let, like, Usai off his meds. And, like, just be you.
Yeah, because he was
definitely... In all your schizophrenic glory, be you.
He was definitely rejoicing at the end of that Zappos shoot, like, never again, never again.
Because he seemed to be responding sometimes to some event that nobody else was seeing. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly he was there, and I'm just like, okay, isn't this what happens when your mind creates visions? I'm telling you, he just went off his meds. Because he, like... Oh my God, like, we'll get to that.
He's over it. But anyway, so he would call Lacey sleazy one moment and then tell her she was doing amazing the next. And then so we cut to Monet being like, she thinks that she's going to win this, but she's not. But cut to Mame on her solo shoot against like a brick wall, and Lacey like scoops up an adorable dog, Yusai's little French bulldog Soy, and starts posing, and she essentially steals the spotlight from her, and I liked it. It was I just wish Mame would have said something, but then again, maybe it would have been a fight.
I know, she's like in her interview, she was like, that was just really rude. It was like, I don't, but you're all still posing together, aren't you? What does it matter? They're probably not going to use any of those shots. It'll just make her look better later on that she was a little more proactive about getting in photos.
Pretty much.
Maybe. We never know. They threw, like you said, they threw in everything but the kitchen sink. And maybe the kitchen sink,
It was like a fire sale of all of their footage, like, cut together.
Everything's got to go right now. Throw it in.
We only got one more episode. We got to burn up this footage. It was insane. So they deliberately just kept fucking with us. Like, she's doing great, she's doing bad, he's doing great, he's doing bad. Like, between everybody and kind of jumbling up everyone. And then they go on to do this again for the Zappos Couture shoot, where we meet Melissa from Zappos and her vacant stare, along with her Rob Lowe from Behind the Candelabra assistant named Kevin at some broken down motel in the middle of nowhere.
Right, I was like...
Probably, I don't know, on the way to the desert or something. It looked remote, but also...
Like, Norman's gonna, like, bury you in your cars in the swamp in, like, an hour, is the way this place looked.
Yeah, and the theme was also very vague. It's like, a traveler who loves clothes. I'm like, what?
I don't understand.
That checks into a murder hotel in the middle of nowhere because they're trying to get away from a dark past.
Psycho.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
is what's happening, and these people
and
are all
instead of a lake,
Lee.
they drive him off like a cliff or something. I don't know.
Who knows? They were in like this barren,
Quicksand.
ugly desert. It wasn't even like an attractive desert location. It was just literally like when truckers can't stand being awake for 36 hours any longer, they stop here.
It pretty much felt like a place where no one would hear you scream.
Yeah, it was like seriously, like, you know, and probably where no one would charge you very much to use it.
Oh my god.
That's another scene, but we're being, like, you know, they're very cost conscious, I think.
Yeah, we're in the final stretch here. We can't afford to waste any money.
Craft services is literally just the cacti around the motel.
Nopales, anyone?
Yes, and you're going to have to drink the fluids from inside for hydration.
Because Tyra said no more plastic water bottles.
California's in a drought, so we need to conserve water. It's my social message of the day.
So they meet the Zappos people and they give them... I mean, I swear, they threw so many buzzy words in one sentence to describe what they were looking for that they almost forgot to say synergy. It was insane. They're like, it's so ethereal and you're on a trip and you want to feel expensive, but it's also Zappos. You're like, what are you saying?
Like, what? Like... It just sounds like surrealist poetry at some point. Like, you have no idea what the connection between any of this is. Like, okay, I need to find the key to, like, this language you're speaking, and then it'll unlock whatever you're trying to express to me. I'm waving my arms around as I say this because there's so much bullshit.
Fluffy crap.
Like, just, like, crammed into this little motel room. Sorry, let's not call it a hotel. And, like, oh, my God. It was so... And then, like...
I think they were shooting fall clothes, right? Because they had, like, some trenches and, like, the guys were in, like, weird kind of... Well, maybe holiday, too, because one of Mikey's...
They're on vacation.
Oh.
They're travelers.
Right. One of Mikey's suits, looked like some sort of, I don't know, like, shiny disco ball New Year's Eve type party
They
suit.
seem to put him in a lot of clothes like that throughout this season, like sleazy EDM.
Like, he would sell you... Oh, he's, like, a party promoter. Party promoter.
That's his brand. I thought his brand was Tonks. We're getting so many different brands out of him. He's just so versatile.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to see what they're saying.
The cool overthinker.
The cool overthinker who plans awesome parties with lots of...
Coke.
What's that stuff you put in drinks to make people pass out?
Oh.
GHB?
Yeah, there we go. It was like the date rape drug.
Yeah. I think there's going to be another roofie colada.
2, please.
Anything to make me forget that Mikey's around.
Do you want to forget me not?
I want to forget you forever. Do you have one of those?
Forget me forever. I'll work on it. I'll get back to you. So I guess everybody has about 4 looks and they shoot. Oh no, was it 3?
It may have been 3, but there was a lot. For each shoot, there was a lot of different looks they had to rock.
Which was actually kind of exciting, which is why I said that, like, the first half of the episode before they started devolving into nothingness and patching together B-roll in a panic because maybe somebody erased a hard drive file. We got to see them do a lot of interesting business model-y looking things.
Taking clothes off and whatnot. Because there was a lot of
like trying on different clothes, trying on different looks. I mean, having to deal with a client, having to be within a specific theme that was actually had a purpose to it,
well,
not just like...
As shitty as that first theme was, at least it was one solid theme that you knew what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, after so many nonsensical themes this season, like, oh, we're going to tie you up with little belts.
or like extension cords or twinkle lights or
what's another one that made no sense?
I think there was like cables.
That was all the same shoot, Samir. I'm thinking about more other, oh my god.
More other. This show is rotting your brain.
I'm trying to think of other ridiculous shoot themes from this past season.
I mean, they've all been so ridiculous.
Oh, the Fierceagram shoot. Like, at least this finally feels like, oh, this has cohesion. It makes sense. It's gonna go somewhere. Even if the vision is kind of stupid, at least there's somewhat of a vision because the public is gonna have to see all of this at a certain point in time. So we better not do something too shitty. So all of that was nice to watch. It actually felt like, oh, cool, this is like a fashion modeling show, which it never usually feels like.
And then they went to the motel.
Moment, yeah. Well, even at the motel, I felt like they were doing like stuff at the front desk and they were ringing a bell or being outside with like their giant luggage and some old, I don't know, circa 1950s taxi outside. It at least looked put together and it looked expensive and it looked like something that, the public will end up seeing. It felt not stupid and shoddy and just like, oh, we had $14 and this Chipotle gift card. Here's my fashion shoot idea.
That's the best diet ever. If anyone needs to lose weight, go get yourself a nice batch of E. coli. Although they reopened all those Chipotles, so... I mean, I wouldn't turn down a Chipotle gift card, but not as payment for being on top model.
No, I meant that was going to be the craft services for the shoots. I mean, I assume as much. So, anyway, the Zappos shoot...
the traveler who loves clothes.
Right. So, Lacey, her journey, or her character, quote-unquote, inspiration, is basically her journey on the show because she's 18 and she can't think that deeply yet. And, I mean, I say that with no shade, but it's just like one of those things like, of course, honey. Yes, of course.
Like, that's kind of what you want, but then you guys like, oh, so you're basically doing what you've done this whole season.
Well, she's a shy woman. This is what I find so hilarious. She's a shy woman who comes to this hotel and gets all these vibes off the hotel, and then she transforms into a fierce girl. I was like, I think you have that backwards.
That's just the Fiercepreneur music video commercial shoot all over
again. I know, yeah.
But nonetheless,
the Stockholm Syndrome has officially set in.
I was like, you say, what exactly did you expect? This is exactly what you've encouraged her to believe the entire time.
Maybe that's Lacey's brand, is shy girl to fierce girl. Yeah, the girl who became beautiful.
Her brand was just going to be her selling her diary as a book, basically.
Well, yeah, the girl who became beautiful.
Bootyful.
That's what I said.
Bootyful. Bootyful.
I said that.
No, you got an emphasis on the booty.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's Lacey's story, and she's sticking to it because apparently that's her brand. I think she's gonna rope in some Christian stuff, probably. Especially if she's gonna have. Well, if she's gonna write a book, you might as well appeal to that Christian crowd.
So she's gonna talk about. No, I can't even say that. It's just so wrong. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna go with her and Niall if they're not having sex.
I don't think they're still together.
Probably not. But she
just
clearly,
saying.
I just feel like there's something happens. Something's happened there.
Yeah, well,
she's not letting loose on the show, thank goodness. Well, at least she has the good sense to keep some things private that she managed to keep off of, like, the many millions of cameras around them.
Yeah, Mame.
Mame, oh my god, because she's like, what exactly is Mame's brand? Because remember, she just sort of, all we got was,
Diplomat's daughter.
Diplomat's daughter is all I've gotten, but I remember when she pitched to the Shark Tanks earlier in this season, hers was, we never even really figured out what it was that her business proposal was.
Selling jewelry, or the jewelry comes from women that make it in Africa, and so...
But that's just 10,000 villages, like, 10,000
But hold on, there's more. That. There's more. I think it's a mix of that and Tyra Beauty, which is, then she gives this jewelry to women to, like, sell in their homes, like, jewelry retainers? I don't know. What are
Fiercepreneurs.
I don't know. But
She's
she wants to... well, her whole stance is she wants to be a model/humanitarian, which is great and all, but it just sounds really silly.
It sounds very pageanty, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and it looks even more ridiculous on that poster board.
Because she's a pageant girl, and all she could come up with was a pageant answer to that.
Want to be a humanitarian.
Like...
It's almost as vague as sometimes these shoot themes. Humanitarian.
Like, yeah, I'm like, most people would like to be a humanitarian in some sense. I think a lot of people spend more time convincing themselves they are than actually doing things, which sounds like the brand that you're selling here, kind of. But is this to make her parents want you to mention something like that because her parents are diplomats?
That's probably a big reason why.
So she couldn't really pick anything. I don't know if she was even really had the freedom to pick anything really genuine. Who knows what that would be in any case, but I feel like this is like, okay, what can I pick that's generic that won't upset anybody that my parents have to deal with in Ghana?
Yeah. I was about to say that. It's so vague and broad that it could mean anything, and no one gets offended by it, and it's a very aspirational and yada yada yada.
I mean,
it's perfectly pageant.
Shared a sleeping bag with Mikey. I mean, like, how do you come back from that in the world of humanitarianism?
I don't know. That's not going to end well.
No.
Well, I mean,
didn't really.
It didn't really end well for her. But anyway.
So in that shoot, they did the same thing that they did with the previous shoot, where it's like, you're great, you're not doing well. You're great, you're not doing well.
It was very up and down. It was really annoying. It was one moment, it was like, Lacey's doing so great, but she better watch out because Mame is also doing great. And it's like,
I just can't choose. And I'm like, then what are you doing here? Or isn't it your job literally to choose? Because you're the person from Zappos Couture that's supposed to be helping to select which of these people are the ones you want to help sell your products. So literally your job is to choose. So including an interview with you where you say I can't choose is so... it just makes no sense to me. I'm like, why don't you just say it's a difficult decision? Why I don't know, the specific words, I can't choose. I'm like, then how are we supposed to trust your literal decision that you have to make, your choice, in like 24 hours? You're going to have to do it soon, and I'm not having much confidence in your decision-making abilities.
All winners! Yay!
They're all amazing in different ways. They're all so unique. I'm like, first of all, they're not that unique. They are pretty people. They're all trying to find something to make them unique, which is all of their interviews are telling us. Like, Niall's like, oh, my mother, I'm deaf, I could do really great things for the world, and they keep talking, the only thing that gives me the impression that they still think this is like the only season of Top Model is the fact that they keep talking about what a great opportunity this is, and how they're going to change the world, and this is going to give them this platform to do all these things.
I know, and all of them said they were going to change the world, and
I'm like,
use this
you
platform.
cannot do this with this show.
Exactly. I don't understand why they're obviously Stockholm Syndrome in full gear there.
This whole show is an escalator
surprised that
to the basement.
I can't believe all four of them said the same thing, though.
All coached.
Well, or cue cards. All cue cards.
Well, I mean, Niall could kind of get away with anything, because him and his interpreter could be saying, like, anything.
I love his interpreter.
He's become his voice.
His voice is so soothing. It's great.
I know, it's like, you kind of associate it with Niall. Maybe that's why everyone got maybe they thought Niall may have been gay, because I get the gay vibe from his interpreter.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like having what I think is a gay man's voice as your voice, whether or not you're a gay man, is interesting, because he also has to probably develop a very intimate relationship. Now, I'm not talking sexually, obviously. I just mean emotionally intimate relationship in order for someone to actually be your interpreter. You have to connect with that person for them to kind of understand, because there's probably other ways in which you use sign language, just like any language, where you sort of condense expressions or words into certain, so gestures may mean more than one thing, and you have to kind of know that person's speech patterns to understand that. So this guy kind of had to learn a lot about him. So it just was really interesting when Niall came out as sexually fluid, as, not one or the other, and having a gay voice that, isn't actually his voice. It's one very interesting aspect of this season that I'm thankful for, that I don't know that even they knew they were going to be delving into entirely. I think it just
also not his brand.
But hey, in all great art, and this is not art, I'm not saying that, but in art, sometimes mistakes are the source of even, greater artistic moments. You're like, oh my God, that worked out better than I thought. So I feel like Niall being on the show really gave it a little bit of class that it hasn't had for a long time.
Definitely.
And, like, because it actually gave us a lot to chew on, and then also a lot visually that I want to chew on.
He really did class up Top Model, and I have to say that Lacey's right that everybody finds Niall attractive, that he just across the board is a great model because he can
relates.
appeal to every demographic that you would want him to appeal to.
Yeah.
Age-wise and, like, across genders. So...
like, anybody could... It's a uniting thing between people. It brings people together from disparate corners of society. We're all united in our hots for Niall.
I would definitely say so. He is a very fine young man.
I really liked that, we're seeing... They showed a few little shots of her talking with him, but she was talking and signing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's still, like, consistently, like...
Yeah.
It was just like, despite her
I think
being...
it's just her and Justin that ever bothered to learn. Oh, and Dustin. Dustin and Justin.
Yeah.
Because Niall even says in one of his interviews that he and Justin became really close friends, and they talked about Mame and how much he liked her and so on and so forth. So he's particularly not mad, but just disappointed in Mame's choices with Mikey.
I wonder if...
And that he basically is taking Justin's side in general.
Yeah. Well, it seems kind of... Fair. Because... anybody who fell into the greasy spell of Mikey. Ugh. But like...
the unwashed spell of Mikey.
I wonder if the connections of the Oppo phones between the models was cut off with the eliminated models.
I wonder, though,
really
because
leave
even...
town.
But Mikey was saying something about posting... So after the Zappos couture shoot, they're all hanging out in the jacuzzi. Well, do you want to talk about Yusai's cartwheel really quick?
Oh my gosh, at the end of the shoot when he literally jumps for joy and does flips...
He does like 3 cartwheels, which I didn't think he'd be able to do, but he did. And I think he had a round off at the end of one of them.
Round off onto the horse. That's what he's planning for tonight.
That's
Niall's horse, hopefully.
I don't think so.
Oh, obviously not. Niall also has more sense in that. Like, sleeping with you is not getting me anywhere.
No thanks. But I think Yusai was just ecstatic to be done with this show once and for all. Maybe he'll get better work. At least... his voice will come back no matter what.
For real. And I feel like if this show was to be picked up by any kind of streaming platform...
Do you think he'll come back?
I don't think Yusai is going to be coming with it.
I don't think so either.
Because he wasn't even, like, really... I mean, he was very entertaining. Like, his, general idiocy and the constant screaming. I mean, the character that he chose to play could have...
Even his patented Yusai burns were really good this season.
They were really good. So I'm like... I don't know. Maybe he just got so tired of having to produce... more than he was expected to last couple seasons.
I wonder what world-renowned photographer Nigel Barker is doing. The Face is canceled. He might be available for this reboot.
What is he doing? He's probably on some show somewhere. There's got to be some producer, male or female, who's like, I just want to see you around a lot.
You just don't age.
He really doesn't. Really doesn't. And remember that one brief moment where he grew his hair back before he was gone from Top Model forever? I think it was that last cycle. He had grown his hair back a little bit, so he wasn't bald, and it was like he looked just like the beautiful, like, I think he's half Sri Lankan, Indian, or something. I thought he said his mom was from Sri Lanka, but he grew up in India. So I think he's actually half Sri Lankan and half British. And, like, when he was younger, he had that look, I was like, oh. It was coming back when he had his hair, and then Tyra made this big joke about shaving his hair off at the judging panel, and he let it happen. I was like, why did you do that? Like, why? He can still grow his hair like that? I thought he was shaving it just because that's all he had left.
Yeah.
But no, apparently he's still got, like, multiple hot looks left in him. He could be doing anything. I don't think he wants anything to do with Tyra right now, though.
I don't know. We'll see. She wouldn't be the host, so who knows?
That's true, but she would be a producer, so she'd still be around.
Right. I don't know. Remains to be seen. We don't even know if it's been picked up yet.
Yeah,
so.
Probably won't.
But I think that we're right in our speculation that if it does, Yusai won't come with it.
No.
So.
And Mr. Tyra, I mean, well, maybe
Mr. Tyra has nothing. He has no work after this.
So he'll probably come along because he's so cheap.
And yeah, he has, or else he's not working if he doesn't come along.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I don't even know catalog shoots that want his work.
No, because catalog shoots need to be in fucking focus.
Like, it's not going to be back to National Geographic for him.
I don't think that was ever the case.
Never.
But whatever, like, cast-off Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue you shot, you blew it, and I don't think they're having you back ever again. So, at the end of the Zappos shoot was his very last shoot, and I don't think Eric was doing cartwheels the way that Yusai was, because I think there's slightly more hope for Yusai and his career after this.
Maybe. Didn't he used to work for Guess?
Yes. But he's still friends with Kate Upton, so I think he'll be doing all right.
He'll be able to con somebody into giving him work doing, I'm not sure what, because I still don't even remember what it was his original job was. Like, what is his actual title in the fashion industry? What does he do?
I don't know. I was going to say photographer, and then I was going to say artistic director, and then I froze, and now I don't know. And
kind
I'm
of
not
like
sure.
Nina Garcia on Project Runway. Like, her
She
title
is.
keeps
Why
changing.
do you always say that? She's an editor-in-chief.
No, she
at Marie
does,
Claire.
but like for like a few seasons, it kept changing. Like, oh, she's style director for this magazine, and it was like not consistent. And then again, she's editor-in-chief, because that was the whole reason they brought her on. But like for a while, it was like different. It was slightly different every season. I'm like, wait, was that what she did last season?
Depending on what the magazine is, I'm sure they have their own quote-unquote funny term for your job,
Oh,
so
God.
who knows. It depends on what magazine she was at when she was a style editor or whatever you said.
I'll have to go look through it.
Style assistant.
Actually, I
who
don't
knows?
really even want to look through it. I'm so done with that show. I tried to watch that. I actually didn't try to watch it. Just I literally happened to be on the television at like 1 a.m. It was like rerunning the premiere of Project Runway Junior, and Kelly Osbourne was there, and I was like,
Oh, you went Project
God.
Runway Junior.
Oh, it was awful. It was so awful.
No.
Please never do it, and nobody ever watch it. It's again, it was all Kelly's comments where, if you just tailor this differently.
It's all she knows. It's all she knows.
Like, be a seamstress and be gone from my television.
I know. Just open a tailoring shop, for fuck's sake. And
Right?
stop annoying everybody about hemlines. Anyway, so now that we covered Yusai's cartwheels and his ecstatic nature about being released from the grips of the show.
Yes, then we have to move on to the prelude to the runway show.
Well, so hold on. I want to circle back around to the Oppo phones connected to the models. So I do think that the cast-off models, while they're being held captive, but like semi-captive in some sort of hotel not too far away from the top model house.
An SLS hotel?
Maybe if there's one in LA. If not, it's probably the 6.
None of them talked to us about, what it was, how great their hotel was, wherever they were staying, so probably
But we just know
Super
that
8.
they're free, so it's probably better than nothing.
Maybe they were staying in that motel they did the shoot at. They just got to get on the bus after the shoot. They just had to stay out of the camera's range.
Maybe. They were recruited as crew to just help. They were just all a bunch of PAs.
They were the ones who had to cut the cacti down.
Aw. But anyway, I think that the lineup, but whatever they have on the Oppo phone or the Poop phone to
The
text
poop
with each
phone.
other.
Call it by its true name.
Sorry, I almost forgot.
How dare you?
I know.
I'm patenting that. You can never forget it. I'm trying to be a fiercepreneur here. I'm selling poop phones.
So anyway, I think all the Poop phones are connected to like the cast-off models as well, because right after the Zappos shoot, and they're in the hot tub, all 4 of the remaining model testants, and Mikey talks about taking a picture on the couch and hashtagging it something about Justin. Fuck, now it escapes me what exactly it is that he says, but he's like, watch out Justin, or some crap like that. And it led me to believe that they're still able to communicate with the cast-off models if you can, like, just post shit. Maybe they're, like, on a WhatsApp group or something, but I'm not sure.
But, like, you'd think if they were able to do that, you'd think that, like, Mame could have had an easier time resisting the slippery grease of Mikey's advances.
Well, when you're awake for, like, 20 hours a day.
Maybe he just looked like Justin.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? What I found interesting was that she was like, I'm pretty sure, like, immediately she's like, I'm pretty sure Devin told him what happened between us. We're like, oh, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's Dustin. Oh my God. It's Devin we're talking about.
Devin, Dustin, Justin. Who are these people?
Now that they're all back on the show for this finale, I'm like, great. How many times am I gonna fuck this up? Just Devin, Justin, Dustin. Ugh.
Maybe we'll get it right in the last episode.
No, probably not. Just don't hold your breath. But, so, Mame's premonition of Devin telling Justin about her night in the cabin, that she keeps just blaming the cabin, which, girl, it's not the cabin's fault. It's your fault. What are you doing?
If you actually made out with him, that is not the cabin's fault.
No, and I think she did, because she's the one who said it in the beginning. She's like, I can't believe I made out with you. I don't regret it, but it was a bad idea. I was like,
Then why
that
don't
sounds
you
a lot like
regret
you
it?
regretting it.
Like,
Does no one know what regret means? I don't understand.
They also are not allowed dictionaries in the top model house.
I guess the poop phone doesn't come preloaded with the dictionary app for these guys.
No, it doesn't. It'll autocorrect their sentences to weird words. Today, to just start turned into Tostitos on my phone.
Have you recently
No,
texted someone
I've
about
never
some delicious Tostitos?
I've never typed that word into my phone ever for any reason. For anything. I've never ever referenced Tostitos, but I feel like I've said it a couple times now, so they should be sending me a check. I'm looking for it in the mail.
Yeah, Tostitos, we're waiting on you. TikTok.
And I don't want just like a year's supply of Tostitos.
No, we want cold hard cash.
Then I'll buy some, for the party. For the people who are working the party to eat while we're eating the better food that they're serving us, because I made a lot of money selling Tostitos and poop phones.
Nice, look at you.
Oh, my future is as bright as a
You're
star.
just a walking native advertisement.
Tyra would be so proud of me. I am truly a fiercepreneur.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and amend all of our previous podcasts where I say that we're ad free, because clearly we're not.
No, but nonetheless, I'm like.
So
I don't
anyway,
think...
yeah, Justin.
I feel like there was something.
Justin, Devin, Mame drama.
Maybe their messages had to go through like a filter, like, oh, you mentioned too much of the outside world. This has got to go. You're just going to get this sentence from Justin.
Or maybe
Dustin.
they can just send each other pictures. Maybe it's like Snapchat. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just got like a weird whiff of them possibly be able to communicate with the cast-off models.
They got to keep their walkies. Yay!
Dude, can you hear me? Yes, I can.
What's your 20?
I don't know what a 20 is.
You've been listening to these stupid producers say this shit into walkies all along. You better know. But there's a slight hint. I agree with you that they have been able to maintain some marginal level of communication.
Yeah, because they seem to know that they're still lurking around and that they're going to come back for this final runway, so...
Like, yo, dude, I'll see you in a week.
Right?
Dustin was probably, like, messaging his buddy Nyle. Makes me wonder if, like, Nyle and Dustin have a little something on the side.
I don't know.
I love him. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they're friends. I think it's adorable.
They're sweet.
What I found super funny was because word of Mikey and Mame hooking up got back to everyone, as it does.
Mm-hmm.
What I love the most, though, I think, I'm going to prioritize. What I love first most is that Devin doesn't understand what irony is, because he's like, I wasn't going to tell Justin what happened between Mame and Mikey because, it's not my place to tell him. But I told him anyway. It's just like, do you not know that the two, like, okay, sure.
Everybody doesn't seem to understand how contradictory the things they said in one sentence
Everything that they said. This whole episode was contradictory. Everything.
That was the theme. That was the unifying theme. Contradiction.
Yes, exactly. And then my second favorite thing was that no one was Team Mikey.
No one.
Even Stefano's like, I'm Team Lacey.
It's like, oh, was nobody Team Mikey? What? Nobody was
And I
Team
think
Mikey?
Hadassah's Team Mame after they fought for a majority of the season, or at least it was pageant girl versus pageant girl was one of the subplots going on here.
Maybe there was more to that sour taste that was left in her mouth after she and Mikey kissed that soured her even further on him.
Herpes?
I don't know. Something sour.
Nope.
I have no idea. I don't want to know.
But no one's Team Mikey is the point. And I think even Ashley, who clearly has heard what happened, was none too pleased to see him. Because when they had their go-sees with the reject models in an attempt for one of them to come back to the competition only to be eliminated in the next episode, when that whole thing happened,
yeah,
her and Mikey were on way better terms. She seemed way more excited to see him, and they were a lot grosser in the car. And it seemed like she was going to yell at him, but was trying to keep it together. Was trying to pretend like she didn't care, actually.
Well, they've all heard about Mikey's exploits. 'Cause it's like, literally, he just moved from one girl to the next as they got eliminated.
Well, that's exactly what Justin says to Mame when he confronts her about what he heard. And he's like, he basically calls Mikey a village bicycle.
Like
and he's
Austin
like, you
Powers.
could literally hook up with Devin. Like, he just didn't want it to be Mikey because he thinks Mikey's disgusting. And I gotta say, Justin became a lot more attractive after he just laid into Mikey talking about how disgusting he is.
She was kind of right about that, though, because that's what Mame said. She's like, even though he's angry, like, it just makes him look even more fine or something like that.
He is.
It really did. I'm like, well, it's amazing what expressing an emotion can do for your physical appearance. You look less like a slate and more like a real person. That's, generally true of people.
Well, it doesn't seem like they're going to work it out this episode. I don't know if they will long run.
Doubtful.
They're both too reserved to have like a big scream, knockdown, drag out type fight.
Especially on camera.
Well, I think even Mame is like, I've embarrassed my family enough on camera. Can we not have an argument right now, please? I don't want to explain myself. This seems like a bad place to do it.
I mean, it does seem unfortunate because it's not like she didn't really do a whole lot with Mikey. It was just the choice itself of Mikey was the thing that disappointed everyone.
Right.
Because she didn't really do anything, so it's almost like she's getting like this whore edit in a way.
She's getting the Scarlet
like,
Letter edit.
Well, like, she didn't even like have sex with that person, so is it like, it's not really entirely fair, but I can also understand why Justin would have been upset with her. I would have been upset if I liked girls and that happened.
Well, yeah, but you can relate to the generalness
like,
of...
you chose that person? Like, of all people, that was the person? Like, she's like, well, Niall was taken. Like, what was I supposed to do? And he said, well, like, and I'm sorry, Devin's... No.
No, I think he even included Devin. He said even Devin. Literally, even Devin. Just anyone that's not Mikey, because he's gross, and he thinks... They all list off all the chicks that Mikey hooked up with or at least tried to hook up with the entire time, and he's just... He has no...
Predator.
He has no standards, and he's just preys on everyone, doesn't care, does not discriminate, as long as you like him, maybe.
Like, Devin's not really a threat, so it's like, I know that's not going anywhere.
Right. I think at least if she kissed Devin,
yeah.
I think if she kissed Devin, it would be like, oh, so are you guys playing Truth or
Spin
Dare?
the bottle?
Yeah, just anything. Like, it was just probably something really stupid.
But that 7 minutes in heaven turned into 5 seconds.
It's the implication. Because, I'm sure Justin even picks up on the, like, rapey vibes from Mikey. It's just like, if you were snuggled up with him, who knows what happened while you were sleeping. It's the implication. It's the implication of just being around Mikey. Because he's gross. But anyway, we finally get an explanation about... Well, actually, we get confirmation, not an explanation. We get confirmation on why we sense Lady Gaga casts off in the weird music video for Tyra's Beauty Tainer promo video thing that she wears in the final quote-unquote runway that they filmed. It's the designer, Rocky
Goldfarb or something, I don't know.
No, it was like Golden Sleuth, like something. Gather Sleuth, Gather Horn.
Gather Comb?
Shit.
I don't remember. That's something awful.
Rocky Gather?
I think it's Gather Comb.
Is it Comb?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up and find out.
So we can stop shouting weird words at each other. Maybe it is Gather Cone. Gather Home?
Gather Comb. I'm typing it in. I'm trying to see if it comes up in a Google search.
Try Rocky Gather Cup? Nope.
No, definitely not Gather Cup. Rocky. I'm just going to look up Rocky Gather. Now it turned into Brocky Gather. But nonetheless, this guy...
But anyway, he designs...
Gather Cole!
We were so close!
Rocky Gather Cole, who's done things for Katy Perry, when she's trying to steal some of Lady Gaga's ideas. She hires this guy who did stuff for Lady Gaga.
The whole point is that he makes huge showpiece concert wear.
Art as fashion. They're art pieces.
Well, for me, it looks exactly like concert fashion. Like, if you are Beyonce or Lady Gaga, like, this is something... These are, like, your showstopper pieces that you dance and sing to. Like, they're obviously not ready to wear.
They're not ready to wear. They're not prêt-à-porter.
And so, because of that, not all of them look great on everybody. I think that...
We saw glimpses of them, and they were not good. The makeup didn't help either.
Oh, Lord. Do they have Sally's... Speaking of Project Runway, do they have Sally's Beauty's makeup consultants working on this? Because that makeup looked bad. It looked really cakey, and when it didn't look cakey, it looked really runny.
Yeah, like
Both of those are not a look that you want.
It looked like a dried-out golden shower.
Oh, right. You're talking about the weird glitter spray. I'm talking about the makeup just in general.
Well, yeah, it even gave them like a urine-y complexion.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that ties into stuff, because Justin was seen...
Into the curvy runway.
Oh, well, Justin was seen wearing, like, a yellow concoction that had, like, a top model, oh my god, like, piece of paper stuck to it. It looks so cheap. So maybe this yellow is supposed to tie in with all of it, but yeah, since the... excuse me, since the final runway is at... I don't know how they schemed this, but at the Walt Disney Concert Hall in downtown LA, they were inspired by the curved architecture on the front of it that gives kind of like a wavy impression that's supposed to have, it has something to do with music and, sorry, that's so broad. With the stanzas and the way that music is played and listened to. It's supposed to be like a sound wave, I think. Some of it is inspired that way. Anyway, they were inspired to have a curvy runway, which... I feel like they've always had complicated runways, so I don't know why they're trying to pretend like this curvy runway has anything to do with the building.
It's some brilliant new idea. Well, it
has anything to do with anything other than they just wanted a curvy runway.
They just wanted something that was a little more difficult to walk on. I still say they should just add stilts. It's not that difficult. Add stilts. I wanted to be them almost breaking their necks to get towards this title.
Well, remember when they had to, like, swim for part of their runway? It was so weird.
I remember one season where they literally walked inside giant clear like beach ball things.
Oh my god!
On
I
like
that.
a 6-inch plank of wood extended out over a pool.
It looked like a Flaming Lips concert. It looked so silly.
And they were supposed to like do a fierce walk inside of it. And like, did they get to practice? No.
Of course not.
So maybe they'll have to do it all on rollerblades or something on this curvy runway. Who knows? I'm like waiting for the twist.
Well, I think the precarious balance of Rocky Gathercole's designs.
maybe the runway will be kind of like tilted, you know, like a racetrack at certain points, almost like a Dr. Seuss book kind of thing. That would be fun. So they have to like figure out how to walk in these crazy 10-inch heels and not fall off the runway or slide off of it. There's so many things they could do to torture them, but it doesn't look like they're doing nearly enough. We'll see.
I mean, well, I think...
The outfits maybe are just enough.
The outfits are part of it. I thought that Ashley was going to definitely trip if she was going to wear that long frayed thing that did not... Girl, I mean, I know that Kate Moss is like an icon to everybody that's trying to be a short model, but sometimes you're just too short. You shouldn't wear that. It needs to be hemmed, and if that's not going to happen, you're definitely going to hurt yourself, so... Don't.
Kate Moss is Kate Moss, you know.
Right, I know, but you know what I mean.
I know, I mean, like, for anybody who aspires, I'm like, she's, you know, a cut above.
Yeah, it's just like...
because, like, oh, I'm short like her, so I could be a star. I'm like, no, that's not really how it works. It was that her natural charisma as a model overcame her height. So just being her height is not your ticket to stardom, which people seem to mistake all
reinterpret.
The time. Yes. Be diplomatic.
Is I think what you meant to say.
Yes, there we go.
But I do feel like they did cram in a lot of tear-inducing bullshit in the last, like, 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. The moms came back.
The moms come back. Well, when Justin and Mame are done fighting and we're done having a bunch of, like, B-roll filler, moms come back. Everyone's surprised. Oh, my God, tears. Oh, my God, I'm going to win this for you. And it felt like they were trying to tie it up a little bit since we started the episode with everybody talking about their family and how much they love them and how, whatever, sacrifices, yada, yada, tearjerker, I'm a diplomat's daughter, blah, blah, blah. You all get the point. Yeah. Moms come back. Tyra comes in, tells them, all right, I'm going to cut 2 people right before the final runway. But before I do that, I need to see all your presentations.
That's the final deciding factor is these presentations. But
last we saw, those presentations were not complete yet.
And, yeah, it was them practicing, again, poster boards and glitter paint and whatever other, you know, really impressive professional materials they're giving them to work
whatever
with.
Leftovers that they had from Shark Tank Week, that was what they were using this time around.
But, like, I was impressed with some of the things that other people were able to create with those shoddy materials. I was like, this actually looks halfway decent. How did you even do that? Except for Mikey's, which looked like garbage, and which, of course, they loved. I'm like, so going back to, like, the fact that they loved his presentation at that point, which was, I mean, it was so laughable. I mean, I couldn't believe a single, like, oh, everything was so obviously rehearsed and written and made, preconceived in so many ways And it was so poorly disguised. Like, because I'm like, dude, if you had the time to, like, coach him on exactly what to say during his presentation, why would you even trust him to make a decent-looking poster?
It's like he looked around, he's like, I got socks, I got tanks. I'm gonna put this shit on my board.
I'm just gonna tape it to the poster board.
Yeah. I just gotta find some tape that'll hold it. Anybody got duct tape?
And then who's got a can of spray paint? I gotta, like, just empty it out on these tank tops to, you know, so I can say that I designed them. I'm like, oh, Lord. So I'm like, but they loved that. So I'm like, oh, God, he should have an edge in this presentation because they apparently love garbage. And he's got a lot of that.
You think he has an edge?
Because they love garbage.
But
in presentations.
But what was his presentation? Like, I mean, what little we saw of his, I don't know what he's going to be talking about. It's going to be a rehash of Tom's.
Yeah, what exactly is this supposed to be? Because it's like, they are kind of going back to their brand, which was introduced in the Shark Tank thing, and Lacey's is going to still stick him with that book.
But she's also going to add an exercise...
Her epistolary novel.
She also is going to add an exercise class. Remember that?
We haven't seen any of them exercising.
But she wants to add one because fitness is suddenly very important to her because she gained 35 pounds after her parents divorced. And she wasn't taking care of herself. And then they showed pictures of her doing yoga in her bedroom. And suddenly now she wants to open a yoga studio or something.
From what I can tell, most of these people have oh my God, I lost the word. Basically all that we've seen them actually do is make poor decisions. So when left to their, like, I don't understand how they have to be coached to act like this, but I don't know, maybe Niall is just so sweet looking that, like, you think he's acting well enough to disguise, like, the shoddiness of the story.
Niall definitely comes across the least scripted, followed by Mame, at least for me, and then, like, Mikey and Lacey have been sounding very scripted lately. I'm just like, please, I get it. You're shilling real hard for these people. I get it.
Like you said, cue cards. I get that you're reading from cue cards at this point.
It's just so the way I'm like, you don't talk like this because I've just heard you talk the way that you talk, and it's not like this. This is so weird. It feels very much like, and I love top model house and.
Is there like an earwig that we're not seeing?
Yeah, they just have like the Secret Service Bluetooth in their ear, and they just have producers feeding them lines every 2 seconds. It just feels very touched by not them.
So who do you think is going to end up going, or they actually saw, the best part of this is I think the people who lose still have to walk the runway.
Oh, totally.
So right after their eliminations when they're supposed to serve it and be fierce.
Yeah, but, chin up.
Chin up, smize up, walk.
Smizes up.
Stomp, now.
Oh, Lord. It's your last chance. Oh, wait, it's not.
Sorry about it. Sorry, not sorry.
But we do end on a cliffhanger, so we don't even know.
We have to wait for the desolation of smog until next week.
Not next week, the week after.
Oh, that's right. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we all be on vacation, or this week, actually.
Yes. But we have to wait till December 4th for the finale. But that won't stop us from speculating who we think will go home. The first cut, at least.
Yeah, I was getting a vibe that they developed these two split off groups so they could break them up for amusement.
You mean like pick one from each?
Yeah, so I'm getting the like Niall and Mame maybe, but Mame had more. I don't know. Mikey and Mame kind of had the loser edits to me in this episode.
That's exactly how I feel too. I'm getting the vibe that like it's gonna be Niall, because if it ends up being Mikey, he's gonna win the whole fucking thing. Just watch.
Like completely, and then we know, like, oh my God.
If Mikey makes it past the first cut, it's done.
Yeah, exactly. We know it's gonna be him because he's had sex with all of them apparently.
He just had to get to the director real quick, and now that he sealed the deal.
And that explains why Niall seems to be doing so well outside of this show, because maybe he didn't win, he will never have, the stain of having won this show completely destroy any possibility of a career. Because, we all know that for Mikey, this is not, I don't think it's going to lead to anything. It's not going to lead to any, like, huge success for him in the modeling industry at all.
I highly doubt he'll even get Tonks off the ground. I just have a very hard time.
Well, he got $2,500
that he probably is not
for
going to spend
seed
on
money. He's probably going to spend it spilling seed.
that. You're right, though. And on top of it all, $2,500 is not enough to start a clothing line.
Well, if they're just tanks and tanks and socks, what is it he's selling? Sex?
You've lost your mind.
Gonorrhea? I don't know. What is he selling?
He's definitely selling herpes, I think.
But who's buying, Mame?
The lady from Zappos?
The lady from Zappos. Well, her skin has been stretched so tight over her face, she probably can't see very well anymore. Just like her, little assistant, Kevin.
Those two need to
Their
relax
faces were so
on the
shiny.
Botox.
What was with the shiny?
I think
Don't
that's
you
what
have
happens
makeup
when you have a lot of Botox.
But isn't that you have makeup artists to reduce your shine?
I know. Someone didn't want to blot
Why
them.
did they want that
Because they
look?
probably are terrible bosses, so they're like, I ain't blotting your ass.
My skin's really tender. I just had another one today, so I can't really have you putting any powder on me.
Monster! That's what I feel every time I see them. So, I don't know. I feel like it could be any sort of combination from these four, and I would believe it at this point. I would like it to be Lacey and Niall, and then ultimately Niall.
But I'm getting, like I said, the vibe was Mikey and Mame going home. No, the vibe I'm getting is, I don't know, it's a little mixed because I can't imagine Niall not being in it.
Right?
And it seemed like the vibe for him was better, but they threw everything in there to make sure that you didn't really have,
a
too
clear
much.
idea.
Yeah. But I still get the feeling that they're going to try to, do it in a way that's most heartbreaking, because that's the modus operandi of this show. As soon as someone's like, oh, I just missed my graduation. Okay, now you're eliminated. Because now it's too late for you to go to that graduation. So that's the most heartbreaking. You just came back? Well, you're going home, because that's the most heartbreaking. So it's we want Niall and Lacey to stay. No!
Right.
Because that's the most heartbreaking. So, you want the couple that's you clearly feel is a couple to stay together. It's kind of it's just like narrative film. You always think it's leading to, the man and the woman getting together at the end. So we kind of get that feeling from this show. But I think that what they're doing is going to, like I said, take one from each couple. And so basically, my prediction is that if it's Mikey, it's going to be Lacey. Mm-hmm. And if it's, Niall, then it's going to be...
And if Mikey is the chosen dude, then he's definitely winning the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that prediction comes to fruition after we're high on tryptophan. Or tofurkey for some, I don't know.
Ooh.
Nobody eats that, right?
I don't think so. It's just...
Looks
if you're giving up meat, just give it up. Don't do the substitute thing. What's the point?
Just have lots of delicious vegetarian dishes.
Yeah, side dishes are amazing. They're usually better than turkey.
Well, have you had it deep fried and soaked in a brine all night?
No. It doesn't sound very appealing, though, to me.
It's incredibly delicious. Deep fried turkey. That's now, because now it's almost Thanksgiving time, which signals the end of, I think, this week.
Well, we hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving. You can always read our you can always read our written reviews on Gambit Magazine. They go up. Well, we both had a little bit of a pre-Thanksgiving weekend, so it'll be going up a little bit later than usual. We'll be doing some best of top model written review recap listicle thingy-mabobbers up on there too. So if you have any favorite moments you would like us to include, or any favorite cycles, any favorite former winners, villains, whomever, you can tweet us. You can tweet me at Marks She Wrote, and you can tweet Samir at Samiraculous. You can also tweet the Gambit Digital Twitter as well. I hope you have subscribed subscribe to this iTunes channel or subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can always hear our latest podcast and always be up to date and never wondering where we are.
Yeah, because what is your day without the mellifluous sounds of our melodious voices?
So I hope you buff up on your fiercepreneur-ness until our next meeting, because there will be a presentation.
Oh my god, my fiercepreneurial, side is coming out.
Or you better sign up to be a beauty trainer. Actually, don't. That's a Ponzi scheme. Don't do that. But just get your presentations ready, because 2 of you are going home immediately, and only 1 can be America's Next Top Model.
Ah, precious heartbreak.
So we will see you at the finale.
Alrighty.
Bye!